What up, everybody? I'm going to do it again and give you the Matthew McConaughey greeting. All right, because today is an all right day. Please follow me on my Instagram at Fame Film Agency and subscribe to my YouTube at Majid and Andary. And welcome to the Magic Hour. I'm your host, Majid and Andary, a.k.a. MagicLeb. And today, I have somebody who's actually funny. Named Joe White.
That's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure to start the podcast.
You know what? I'm not dissing my previous guest, right? You know, because most of them, I guess, are just Adelaide local type people, and so they have potential and all that kind of stuff. But when I say you are actually funny, it's because you have been to Comedy Cartel. You were part of the Comedy Cartel.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You are a multi-year winner of the Best Comedy Award at the Fringe World Festival. And you received a Critics' Choice recognition from West Australia. Is that correct?
I wrote all that myself.
Oh, you did? See, that's what makes it funny, because now it's all BS.
No, it's true. It's true.
You know, you see, I mean, you've got accolades. You have accomplishments. You have proof of this that you have done, and you've been getting a great fan base, and you have worked with amazing comedians. You've worked with Tahir.
Yeah, Tahir. I love Tahir. Tahir. I grew up watching him, you know?
Yeah.
How do you say it? Tahir.
It's actually Tahir, the way we say it. Yeah. You've obviously worked with George Kapaniaris and James Leota.
Love James.
Hang on. I've got a list here of the people that you have worked with, you know, but we'll get to that later.
Joe Avati, one of them.
Yeah, no, we'll get to that later. I actually met Paulie Fennick and Tahir back in 2001. They came and did a show here, and I was in uni. I was 22 years old, and part of the Fat Pizza show was they like to talk to the audience. Someone like to talk to the audience, and in that time, I had a massive unibrow, like the most infamous unibrow. I had a unibrow so freaking thick you can see it from space. I swear to God, it was that noticeable. And Paulie saw me, goes, check out the unibrow on this guy. You know why? No. Because nobody had it like I did. Right? And when I watch Fat Pizza, Paulie's character is always coming up with these bullshit scenarios and stories of how things happened in the past.
Yeah.
You know, which makes it funny. Yeah. So I've copied the exact format. He goes, how did you get an eyebrow like that?
Yeah.
Right? And then I came up with a story on the spot. I improvised my ass off that day. I said, well, I'll tell you how I got this eyebrow. I'll tell you why I keep this eyebrow. How I got it is because I'm Lebanese, but I'm telling you why I'm keeping it. All right? Because in the 40s, my great-grandfather had a burger joint named Muhammad's. All right? And when these two Americans came, they loved it so much, they changed it into McDonald's, fucked my grandfather out big time and became millionaires. So I keep this because it makes the shape of an M. All right? And I'm keeping it as a reminder not to trust fucking white people.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And
you don't got an applause break.
I did. And he invited me up on stage and I took my shirt off. All this guy, there was a striptease thing that was going on.
And did you have a monobrow on your chest?
No. I had a clean chest. I wasn't that hairy. But during just before I got up there, when the show continued, Paulie stopped and came up to him and goes, "That was fucking brilliant, man.
Yeah,
that's fucking brilliant." And I didn't think to my mind, maybe I was auditioning for this guy. Maybe something could have happened.
Yeah.
I didn't think of it at the time because I was just in my first year at uni. I'm thinking, I'm going to be a filmmaker. I could have probably been a star the next day.
Yeah.
All right, because had I stayed afterward, because it's like it was. I felt like he was giving me the sign, like I'm going to talk to you after the show.
Yeah.
But it never happened.
Oh, you didn't get a role in Fat Pizza?
No. I wasn't. But the thing is, I wasn't even thinking that could happen.
Yeah, I know, but
I thought, but I made a connection with Paulie. I made that connection.
Yeah,
I felt like because the improv timing was perfect.
Yeah,
I was thinking on my feet fast, and I've always been that funny kid in school.
Have you ever thought about doing comedy?
I've been doing it now, but
you've been performing?
Yeah, about 20 years too freaking late. I just
it's never too late.
I know, but it's like I feel like I have the heart to want to win the Olympic gold, but I started training at 40 instead of 6.
Man, you know what? You could be going until 70, and then at 70 you become so bloody good, and all of a sudden they create an event for like mature adults or elderlies, and then you win it and you become a champion. Dream achieved.
Well, they can
in a different format, Well,
the world is getting more insane every day. Yeah. I would not be surprised. I remember one time they were talking about how making a gaming event as part of the Olympics.
A what event?
A gaming event, like video gaming event.
Okay.
As part of the Olympics. Because they have all these big game competitions that are huge.
Yeah.
And for some reason, some of them were talking about can we introduce it to the Olympic Games? And it's like, they shouldn't. Because it's about athleticism, not how good you can move your thumbs. And, you know, that coordinates with your brain.
I would be up for it, man. Did you used to play games?
I used to play games,
Dude,
but never in my mind would I have think that it could be part of an Olympic event or even thought to be an Olympic event.
I used to spend like 8 hours playing games, and it's not easy to achieve some things, man. You gotta stay at it again and again and again and again until you pass, and then the reward is like, I can finally leave my room now.
Yeah, okay, fine. But imagine after the event is over, would you be able to have the energy to stand on the podium, or you be sitting down on your desk with the Red Bull and Cheetos for them to come and give you the freaking medal?
And what is the trophy? Is it just a thumb from all the...
Who knows, man? It'd be the Olympic gold. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It doesn't belong.
Yeah.
And they got their own tournament.
And we're so good at, you know what Olympic games I like to watch? The enhanced games, right? We're so good at renaming things because we want to participate in them and we want them to pass as okay.
Yeah.
So instead of saying they're steroid games, we say the enhanced games where everyone is like roided up on performance enhancing drugs.
Okay.
You know, instead of the natural Olympic, it's the enhanced Olympics. Okay. And then you just watch them go at it.
Just the fancy word of saying they're jacked up on steroids.
Yeah, so enhanced games. That's what we're good at as, you know, humans. Renaming things so we can accept them.
Did you take Viagra? No, babe. I took it as an enhancement drug. You know? Viagra just sounds vile.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember a friend, she works as a sex worker. But she doesn't say she's a sex worker. She says she's a spicy worker.
Whatever happened to exotic dancer?
I've never heard of...
I've never heard of that either.
What do you mean spicy?
That's just one untalented spice girl, right?
I'm like, spicy worker.
You know,
sounds delicious. Are you cooking something?
Yeah, you know, whatever happened to exotic dancing? That's a nice term. That's appropriate. That
that's still a thing.
Yeah.
But it's different to... sex workers, spicy, exotic dancers are more like strippers. And
yeah. You know, so it's just better to say it that way.
This conversation derailed.
No, it's fine. It's going where it's supposed to be going.
That's right.
You know. Now, Joe White, since that's not your real name, your name is Tilahun Hailu.
You know, being Lebanese, I reckon you'd be able to pronounce it the way Ethiopians pronounce it.
Yeah.
So in Ethiopian alphabet, we have the So instead of A, we've got 7 different pronunciations, right? So we've got O, E, I, O. That's just A. And then B with B, boo, B, ba, B, boo, bo, right? So we've got the same thing for T. So T, T, Ta, T, O, and I'm so T.
It's Telahun.
Telahun.
Hailu. Telahun.
Not T, because T is another one. There's T, Tu, Ti, Ta, Te, Tu, To.
Yeah.
But it's T. Telahun. Not butchering it. You're from Lebanon.
Telahun.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you've got it. You just need to make it one word. Telahun. No,
come on. Telahun. It's gonna take a while. But you know, but the meaning of your name is amazing because the meaning of your name means may you be great. Did you know that?
Telahun.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of 2 words. Tela is shade, shadow, shelter. That's Tela. Hun is a command which means be or become.
Yeah, to become great.
So Tela Hun is be shelter, be shadow. But the symbolization behind it in our culture, Tela Hun is be protector of family, protector of community. Okay. That's what Tela Hun means.
Tela Hun.
Yeah. But I like the be great.
Yeah, it does. I did some research on your name because, you know, like I figured this is the kick-ass fucking name.
Telahun, yeah, that's what it means.
I mean,
I changed that for average Joe.
Of course, and I did a sketch.
Yeah,
it's called My Identity, right? Where I wanted to identify myself as a white person, and I renamed myself White Whitman.
White Whitman.
You know, I wanted to be as white as I can to get all the white privileges.
I like it.
Right?
And it didn't work, or it did work?
No, it was a sketch. It was a funny sketch. All right. They couldn't deny my whiteness of the attitude, but if you watch the sketch, you'll understand it more.
Yeah.
Right. It's basically I want the white stuff, and they're trying to, and now I have to pass the test on what it's like to be white.
Yeah.
You know how you got a lot of white people that try to be black.
You had to get rid of the monobrow? Or
Yeah. No. Well, I didn't. I haven't had it in a long time.
Yeah.
You know how you got a lot of white people that are trying to be black.
Yeah.
All right, and black people won't accept it unless you pass a few tests that only black people know. And if white people can do it, then they'll consider you black.
Yeah.
Then, you'll be the wigger of the group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All right. So the same thing was happening. He was giving me tests to see if I can pass for white.
Okay.
All right. So, it's a funny sketch. I recommend you watch it. I'm going to put it right here so you can click on it. And it's funny. So, so I wanted to do research on your name. And you did pitch the average Joe, but why white? Why not Joe Black? I mean, we got Jack Black, but maybe you want to be Joe Black.
I mean, that's what this show is about, Emotional Blackmale. This show is about going from my real name, Talahun, to Joe, and then to Joe White, and then back to Talahun. And why, right? So when I first came here, when I was 11 years old, I was very shy. I didn't speak a word of English. We just spoke, main language was like Ethiopians, but main language was Arabic because we were born in a refugee camp in Sudan, so we spoke Arabic. And then Amharic, which is a national Ethiopian language, which I learned from my mom. And then Tigrinya, which is my dad's language because he was born in the north part of Ethiopia, Tigray.
Yeah.
So I learned Tigrinya from him. And then when we came here, that's when we learned English. But I didn't know a word of English. And when I first migrated to Australia in 1998 to Perth, there wasn't many, if any, Arabic speakers. So
in Perth, huh?
Yeah, so you step out as an 11-year-old kid and you've just got this opportunity to live in a place where, you've gone from sleeping on the streets and eating out of bins to survive to, this 6-bedroom house is now your house to live in.
Wow.
Oh, there's a fridge now full of food.
Oh, nice.
Meanwhile, there's a bowl of apple on the dining table. Meanwhile, in Sudan, I used to see this guy selling apples in a cart for like a cent maybe, and I couldn't afford it, so I'm just looking at it going, one day we'll afford an apple. And we didn't picture even the life that we have now, that we would come to the West and we would live the way we live, right? So then we come here and we see all of this and it's like this shock, to this 11-year-old kid. It's like, do not stuff this up. This is so good right now. Do not stuff it up. Even worse, do not stuff it up for your family,
exactly right.
Don't say or do anything that will get you sent back.
Yeah.
So when I came here, I was quiet, I was nervous, I was worried that we were going to get sent back if I said or did the wrong thing, right? So all I wanted to do was be accepted, fit in. And so at 15, when I was in a youth group playing soccer, they're like, hey, man, everywhere I went, I was always the only black guy, me and my family, like me and my brother or me and my sister. They're like, hey, man, we can't pronounce your name. We can't pronounce it. Can we give you a nickname? And I didn't know what nickname was. My English wasn't good. So I was just like, what is nickname? And they're like, it's like a name we give you, but it's not your real name. And I was like, oh, okay. And they're like, can we call you Michael? And I was like, oh, no. Because I had a friend called Michael. I hate it. So I'm like, no. No, Michael.
Yeah, fuck you, Michael.
I was like, no, Michael. We ended up being good mates after.
Sorry, Michael. I take that back, man.
I know, right? And then they go, what about Joe? And I was like, Joel. And they're like, yeah. And at the time, I was in love with Joe Thomas. You remember Joe Thomas, the R&B singer from back in the late 2000s? He had this song called I Wanna Know. It's like, it's amazing how you knock me off my feet.
Yeah, I know that song.
Remember that song?
Yeah.
I Wanna Know.
Yeah.
And the video clip, if you saw it, it's like he's got a tank top on. He goes up to this chick that's like getting broken up with her boyfriend. And when her boyfriend walks away and she's sad, Joe goes up to her. It's like, yo, what up, ma? Is that your man over there? She's like, not anymore. He's like, yeah, I'm going to take you out. And he gives her his number. He said, all right, shorty. And he's like, don't cry. And puts his hand on her face. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, I want to be like that. And then I realized now as an adult, if I did that shit, I'd go to jail, right? Sexual assault straight away, right? But I wanted to be like Joe. He had everything I wanted to be, which is confidence, muscles, voice, ladies man, cool, had mates. And I was like, I want to be like that. So when they said, can we call you Joe? Bam, I associated it with that.
Okay.
When my real name, I associated it with my identity, which was all that trauma that I suffered. So that's what I associated Lahun with.
Yeah.
But with Joe, I associated it with Joe Thomas. And so I was like, yeah, call me Joe. I like Joe. So at 15, I became Joe. So everywhere I went, I just told people my name was Joe.
Okay.
And that name, I carried myself with a lot of confidence and style and swagger, you know?
Yeah.
Even though I knew deep down I didn't have it. But when I heard Joe or became Joe, I was that character.
Well, when you have an alias, you kind of adapt the alias's new persona. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know how it happens. It just does. Like, you know, I mean, it's like when you get on stage. There are people that when they get on stage, they're themselves, but then they get on stage and they're a different version of themselves. They feel like they have a superpower because they have the audience's attention for whatever time they're up on stage for. Yeah. You know, so you got that presence, you know, where you can go outside of your regular shell because, you know, you are untouched on stage.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, if off stage, it's, you know, they split personalities, but so it's not really that, but it is like this alter character that you take on.
Ego,
not so much ego, but maybe ego, but like it's this character that you take on to get the job done. You know, because to me, I don't think Lahun would achieve what Joe achieved.
I don't know, because you're in Australia. No, tell Lahun is supposed to be packing groceries, man. You know, I mean, that's what it's supposed to. He's supposed to be washing my car. You know, I mean, I've lived here since 84, 85. Australia. In the 80s, incredibly fucking racist.
Yeah.
Today, they're still incredibly fucking racist. They just know how to hide it better. You know what I mean? They know how to hide it. It's like I don't know. It's like racism turned into COVID, and they're trying to hide it with their mask. You know, but you always see the racist one always putting it under their chin, so you know, here's to the racist.
Yeah.
You know, at least I know who you are. I respect the racists.
Yeah.
Because they're racist and they say it. They're out there. I respect them. The ones I don't respect are the ones that want to say something to you. But they don't, so they think it constantly around you.
Yeah.
You know, just fucking say it. Like, I was wearing a Free Palestine t-shirt the other day. I was walking down the street, and this old white guy walked past me going, he just mumbled something. I said, what'd you say, sir? No, nothing. You know, because he saw my shirt, and he got upset from the shirt.
Yeah.
You know, there are two words, free, and people love free shit.
Yeah.
Right? But because it's followed by Palestine, they're like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, blasphemy. You know what I mean? What if it said free Tibet? You know what I mean? If you know, they're like, hey, yeah, Tibet, you know. But the thing is, people's opinion on things it changes by what is there. Like Free South Africa, that's a big cause. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
huge cause. Every white person on earth was behind that.
Yeah,
you know, Free Tibet, same thing. But you put Free Palestine, Arabs speaking, no.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And how many that when you had that Free Palestine shirt on, how many people, white people or white Australians, were actually pro that shirt? Where they went.
One.
Yeah.
There was this lady, she had kids. Yeah, Free Palestine.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, yeah, thanks,
and
man.
she's got those kids to
she's got the kids to see it, you know? So somebody raised her, right?
Yeah.
You know?
And, you know, and in the protest, the Free Palestine protest, there's a lot of white people there as well, right? There are. So my thing is with growing up in Australia, yes, I have experienced racism, and yes, there is racist people in Australia, but there's also people that are not. And I think bad news does travel faster. So when I do experience something that's bad, something that's racist, when I go home or when I'm with my mates, I'm not sharing the good stuff. Instantly, it's just human nature. What comes to you is, hey man, I experienced this, this racist thing, and so you end up sharing that bad news, and then that travels faster. And then people have this idea that, oh yeah, there's more bad than good out there. But I like to believe there's more good than bad out there.
No, I do believe in humanity. I do believe in common decency. I really do. The reason why we talk or express a bad experience is because you are probably one of those people who has found their own inner content. You know, you are traditionally and basically a happy person or a content individual. And you don't need to tell people you're content because they simply see it on your face that that everything's okay. When you go through something bad, your friends are the first ones to ask, dude, what's wrong? Because they can see it on your face. You know, if you experience something like racism or anything, even if you had a car accident or you got hit, they will just know by seeing it in your face. So they wanted to get it out because they want you to go back to how you normally are. So let's talk this shit out, get it over and done with. Let's get some closure and then move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A problem told is a problem halved.
Yeah. You know, so it's just basic nature. Like, you know, when I had my first racial encounter, I was 6, 7 years old, and I didn't even know that I was being racist too. You know, I had no idea what the guy was saying. Right. And when I told my mother about this, she was furious. Right. And like, what can I say? But
just to answer your question to where white comes from. So Joe was what I got at 15.
Yeah.
And then at 29, when I started doing comedy, you know, I discovered this thing that I just freaking loved so much. I loved my first 5 minute, you know, applause breaks, laughs, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, these strangers, they love what I'm saying. They, you know, I felt this thing that I never wanted to lose. And I was like, okay, can I do this for an hour? And can I do it to, instead of 60 white people in a room, can I do it to 1,000, you know? And I didn't want to lose it. I wanted to be, I loved the feeling of being seen, heard, and I felt accepted. And I'm like, can I bond with them even more? You know, this need to be accepted, this need to not want to lose this thing that I just experienced. I went, how can I bond with them more? I said, I know, I'll change my last name to White because it's funny because I'm not white, I'm black. Yeah. So when they say Joe White, they expect a white person, but then bam, they get a black person and it's funny.
It is.
Right? And so that's how I came at it. And I thought I was the only person doing this, right? But then I was at a comedy competition 3 months into comedy and there was 30 comedians backstage and me and one other black guy, right? And I thought, great, a black guy, this is awesome, you know? Like black people, when we see another black person in the room and there's not other black people, we just go, hey, I got your back.
Yeah.
Anything happens, you got mine. You know, it's this weird feeling, right? But it's like we got each other's back. But the way he was looking at me, it wasn't that feeling. And I thought, something is up here. And he just came charging up. And he goes, hey, man. He goes, so he's done the same thing where he's changed his last name to White as well.
Oh, no.
And this is genuine conversation that happened backstage, which now I look back and go, man, we were two traumatized adults, right? Having this conversation because he comes up to me and he goes, hey, man, how long have you been white?
Okay.
True conversation. And I was like, 3 months. And he goes, I've been white longer than you. And I was like, how long you been white? He was like, maybe 6 months. And I was like, man, we can both be white. There's plenty of whiteness for both of us.
Exactly,
you know?
right, yeah.
And then meanwhile, you got like, 28 other non-black comics looking at us like, we want to be black. You know, we love their tan, man. You go out in the sun, not put sunscreen on. What a privilege, right?
Yeah.
And we're just there going, I've been white longer. We can both be white. Let's change our middle names and be to super and be super whites. You know, it's weird, man.
You should have opened up your own white supremacy.
We should have gone that far. But I look back at it now and I just go, oh my God, we were so traumatized. We had this need to just be accepted by white people so bad to the point where we thought it would be funny and awesome to change our last names to White. So then I became Joe White. So it was, my first name wasn't Joe, my last name wasn't White. And so I became Joe. I got rid of my real traditional Ethiopian name and I didn't care, right? And now at 40, got my first kid, she's 9 months old.
Oh, God bless her.
And I look at her face and I did my current show called, Emotional Blackmale, male spelled M-A-L-E.
Yeah, which
right?
we'll talk about later on the show.
Yeah, and I created the poster for the tour, and it was, I don't know if you've seen the picture of me holding Leilani, and the name of the show was originally Joe White. I'm not white, but I have a white baby. Because she came out pretty white when she was born, so I had got all these jokes about it.
Okay.
That was the name of the poster, and I looked at it, all done, ready to go to print. I looked at the poster. White was written way too many times. And Leilani looked sad in the picture because she's looking down. She's not engaging the camera. And I just had this moment where I went, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm passing on my traumas onto her. And that's what happens when you as an adult don't address your traumas, right? You pass them down. You don't even know you're doing it. You pass them down. And I thought, I'm passing it down to her. So I need to, do the hard thing of facing myself, the man in the mirror and asking myself, why is it that I'm constantly going, Joe, white. I'm not white, but white. What's this need, to be accepted by white people? Where does it come from? because I am proud to be me, but who am I? So I had to ask all these questions, and that's what this show is about: is facing my demons, my own personal demons, and going back to my real name, because I didn't know names were so important, but now I know names are very important because they denote what? Culture, heritage, identity, and I got rid of all of that. And before I know it, I'm like, oh, I'm passing it down to my daughter now. What, she's gonna grow up and change her name to Leilani White because her dad's still doing it? I'm like, what? So it ends with me, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, did you change your name legally? Is it like on your passport and anything like that?
No, but once upon a time, I was dead set serious about changing my name legally.
Okay. So, تحكي شوي عربي.
أحكي لكن شوية.
شوية. I just asked, so you speak a little Arabic, and he responded yes a little bit. Okay. Now, you had other show titles that when you went solo. You had Ethiopian and Not Hungry.
Yeah.
And Ethiopian and Still Hungry.
And Still Not Hungry.
Oh, that's Still Not Hungry.
You would be surprised how many Ethiopians go, we're not coming to your show. And I go, why? They go, because you're making fun of Ethiopians and saying we're still hungry. I'm like, how are you missing the still not hungry part?
Yeah.
So I guess it was an inner battle. You can see in my titles my inner battle, right? Yeah. And my inner battle is I love being Ethiopian, yes. I am not a sellout.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do sellout titles.
Yeah.
And I think Ethiopian and Still Hungry, Hungry Ethiopian, all these titles people keep going, oh, that would be fun. It's like, yeah, but you're not seeing that you're just promoting like a narrative, right? That's punching down at Ethiopians.
Mm.
That's why I went Ethiopian and Not Hungry. So I'm trying to meet halfway to be funny, to play on the stereotype, but not completely sell out. You know what I mean? Like Ethiopian and Still Not Hungry is funny, but it's also saying that we're not hungry and we were never hungry. Ethiopian and Not Hungry, Ethiopian and Still Not Hungry.
Okay.
Right? So that's where my mindset was. So you can see the inner battle in the titles as well.
Yeah,
but how funny is it? Because it's sold out everywhere. Won awards with it.
Yeah, that's great. No, because you performed on big stages, including the Sydney Opera House.
Yeah.
The Edinburgh Fringe.
Yeah.
Festival. Yeah, and you were selling out shows.
Yeah, at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
That's amazing.
The biggest arts festival in the world.
Wow. My God, I haven't. My biggest crowd is what, like maybe 33 people.
That's massive.
Yeah. And that's amazing stuff. So, how long did it take before you were recognized for your potential in comedy to be invited to the Comedy Cartel?
Comedy Cartel was only last year, and I'm 10 years in.
Mm-hmm.
10 years heading to 11-year mark.
Because it was headlined...
I would say it took about that long.
Because it was headlined by Joe Avati, and it features Tahir, Kapniaris, Sashi Pereira, Ting Lim, and yourself.
Yeah.
Now...
all amazing comedians.
Yeah, no. I know half of them. I'm not familiar with Sasha Pereira nor Ting Lim, which I will be after this conversation, definitely, after doing research.
Yeah.
But it was headlined by Joe Avati, who's very, very big internationally.
Joe's amazing, yeah.
Very big internationally. And so what was that experience like to be to share a stage with all of these people?
I loved it. Every single act is hilarious on stage, but also just hilarious and amazing people off stage. Which I think is very important for the experience, because sometimes you'll be on tour and, you're working with very funny comics, but then you meet them backstage and they're just...
It's regular people.
Yeah, well, not so much regular people, but they're just like not good people.
Oh, really?
They keep to themselves.
Okay.
Bit of arrogancy.
Yeah. Where do you think that comes from, though? Is it because like the fame gets in their head or something, or...
Oh, 100%. If you've got a lot of people looking at you like you're a god,
Does it really,
Sometimes that radiates off stage and you're like, oh, bloody amazing. And it's like, come on, all our shit stinks. Relax.
Yeah. Like
some people carry that and they bring that into conversations and hangouts, and you're just like, I just want a break.
Yeah, I don't think I could have. I don't know. I think everybody is different, but I guess like I used to do. 35 years and 50 kilos ago, I was a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo.
No way!
No.
Wow.
I could do the splits like Van Damme even better. You know what I mean?
Way.
No, I used to do that shit. Jeez. And I was raising up really quickly when I started. I got my black belt in 18 months because I was studying really hard. I was like, I put my whole life into it. I was this close to wanting to go to Korea and do Taekwondo there. And when I got my second-degree black belt, to get my second-degree black belt, I had to fight with third and fourth-degree black belts in part of the exam. And there was this notorious guy who was a third-degree black belt, and he was notorious in like an ass whooping. He would kick anybody's ass. And he was determined to kick my ass because that's his job. He's not supposed to make it easy for those to get the second degree.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened. I was on fire that day because every blow he threw at me, I counted, and I made contact every time. He did not get one punch on me or one kick on me. I made him look like a fool. And when the instructors said stop in Korean, which they do, when they stop a fight, he grabbed both my arms and headbutted me right in my lip, because he got so frustrated.
Yeah.
And then when we were supposed to bow, I bowed, gave him a wink, and I spit the blood in front of his foot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like a Van Damme
movie. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? But after that, most of his students started coming to my class because I was teaching before I got my second degree. And all these students came to my class after they had witnessed that in the exam.
Yeah. Wow.
And they were all kissing my ass. Oh, Majid, you're great. Majid, you're amazing. But I didn't let it get to my head. I was I felt like I was famous for one day. You know what I mean? Like, because everybody talked about that for a long time.
Yeah.
And I can see how easily I could have fell for that egotistical trap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am the greatest. I made that guy look like a fool. I could have been like Muhammad Ali. I could have just said stuff. But I didn't. I stayed humble. Yeah, because you know why? Because the teacher that I had was always humble. And the teacher that I had was an ass kicker. You know what I mean? But he would always be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. Be zen. You know what I mean? It's like, be zen. All right? No matter what you do, even if you fuck up, be zen. Yeah. And if you do amazing, stay being zen. Stay being cool.
Yeah.
So I kind of adapt that attitude.
Yeah.
All right? So I would like to,
the head,
Yeah, I mean, I would like to think if I made it to their height that I wouldn't be an asshole.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I would sign anybody's autograph that asked to be signed.
Yeah,
because why not?
Yeah.
I got the privilege to make it this far. Why disappoint now?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's really sad to hear stories like that. When you see them off stage, they're not what you think they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, in some situations it's like that, but there's also like a lot of amazing people where, you're nervous to meet them, and then when you do meet them, they're just awesome humans, and you're like, oh, thank God I said hello and hanged out, and man, they were great. I can't believe I hanged out with them,
Yeah.
And so Comedy Cartel, it was great because everyone was just in great spirit, good humans off stage. We had so much little adventures backstage, where we spent a lot of time making each other laugh. And me and George Capinaris, we filmed sketches together.
Oh, sweet.
I'm
a sketch writer. I write comedy sketches constantly. And a lot of my sketches are very controversial.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's as equally as funny as it is controversial, which kind of takes the effect of the blow of how controversial it is because of how funny it is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you this sketch after the show. You guys don't know it because you guys can only know it once the sketch gets done. And you can tell me if you think it's controversial or not. Okay. But now, I've done over 50 sketches that I've published. I've filmed them, and most of them in Bahrain, because in Bahrain, I had access to the Navy base, which means I had access to Americans, which means I had access to Black Americans.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. My first sketch that I wrote, it was the original title was supposed to be Naming the Team, but I made a clickbait title, and I called it I Swear I'm Not a Racist, because I wanted people to say, well, let me be the judge of that, and so they can click. And it worked. I got 7,000 hits.
Yeah.
In the first 2 weeks, simply because of that title.
Yeah.
And when my black friends read it, they said, dude, when are we going to film this? This is fucking funny.
Yeah.
So, and ever since then, I couldn't stop writing sketches.
Yeah.
And, but being in Australia, everybody's so conservative. Everybody, especially Adelaide. I can't speak of all of Australia because I haven't been all around Australia. But in Adelaide, everybody's like second guessing themselves. Oh, if my boss sees me in something like this, you know, he might not like it. Aren't you an actor? You know, aren't you a comedian? I mean, that's like saying maybe your boss might not like what you say on stage. Yeah. You know, that shouldn't affect your whatever it is that you're doing. But now it does affect, apparently.
I mean, yes, it does. But a lot of people also just use that as an excuse instead of just saying, no, I don't feel comfortable with it.
Well, there you go.
They use that
just
as an excuse.
real.
Oh, my boss, you know. But really what they're trying to say is, this is not in line with my philosophy, you know, personal philosophy. And, you know, if I know it's work, but also I want to show in my work what I'm like in my real life, you know?
Yeah, that'd be great.
And so a lot of people don't have the courage to say it. So they'll go, oh, my boss or my wife.
Yeah, exactly
just
right.
Say it's you. You don't exactly feel comfortable and move on.
I hate that shit. Just be truthful, you know? Look, the truth can be devastating, but it's also freaking liberating. Yeah. You know, just, you know, and we can get over it. Where the saying
comes from, the truth will set you free.
That's right. Liar, watch it again. You know? Now, since you've done sketches with George, can there ever be a possibility? Will we ever see you have your own sitcom or series?
I've thought about it, and I still think about it. It's a lot of work, isn't it?
You know what? It is a lot of work, but if it's done right, it's incredibly awarding. You know, I mean,
think it's one of those things that when you do start doing it, writing the sketch, trying to film it, finding the people and all that, it will take me away from stand-up. So maybe there'll be a period where I'll give stand-up a rest for, 6 months or whatever and just focus on writing sketches. But also, that being said, stand-up is where my income comes from, you know. So if I am going to go away and take time off from stand-up to focus on sketches and putting them out like proper sitcom and stuff like that, then I would have to have enough money to sustain me, you know?
Yeah, no.
And but now we've been a new dad.
Yeah. But the thing is, the thing is, when it comes to that kind of stuff, though, Joe, is like you're gonna get funding if the
okay.
Because
I don't think about that kind of stuff. I think about
what happens is like you write a pilot episode, and on the strength of that episode, whoever the executives or whoever's gonna back it up, they'll decide, okay, we're gonna get a team of writers to write more of these. You know what I mean? You had us. It's like a pitching an idea. It's like pitching an idea with that episode.
Okay.
Right, and if they like it, it becomes a thing. If they don't, then it doesn't. But
so
at least
with the right support, but giving them something to sort of initiate the conversation.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Why not? I'd love to do a sitcom.
Well, as I mentioned before we started, like I'm writing one right now. Okay. Right? I'm writing one about a particular person's life. I'm not going to say who. Yeah. Right? But it's about this person's life. He's playing himself. Yeah. But at the same time, it's still fictitious because what's happening to him is not what's happening to him in real life as himself right now. You know what I mean? So if he's married with kids, I'm gonna make him single in this one. Okay. But he's still the same person. Yeah. He still has the same effect on people. People recognize him for what he used to do. Yeah. And he's basically trying to find himself. Find himself again because he was a big deal. I mean, he's not. I'm not saying he's not a big deal today, but there was once upon a time where he was like almost untouchable. You couldn't get near him. Right? Now it's easy to get close to him and stuff like that. So it's kind of like he lost his way. And one of his close friends is a rising star comedian who's hitting the heights that he used to hit. So he's basically going through the same train that he went through. It's only 30 years behind. Okay. But they're all going to hit the same stop. But he's hoping that this guy doesn't fall for the trap that he fell for. So to end up the way... He's not unsuccessful, but he could have been more successful. Do you know what I mean? You get my point in that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see it. I like it.
So, but it's comedy. It doesn't have drama in it, but there is some seriousness to it. But I want to stick to the comedy. Yeah. Because he's moving into a new place, and he's got neighbors who are roommates, but one of them is a Muslim and the other one is a Jew, and they're best friends and they're roommates, but they argue constantly. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they drive him crazy. Yeah. And they all go to him for advice. Both of them. So like that's the kind of thing.
Man, that's so good, especially in today's conversation. That would be a need.
We need that. Because we need that levity.
It's got everything, yeah.
We need that levity. Because of the high tensions going on, even religious wars and political wars and what's going on in the Middle East, we need to relieve some of that tension by bringing it home. Yeah. People need to understand you know, oh, it's not really about this, it's more about that.
Yeah.
You know, so why are we being so angry when that wasn't the case? So this kind of duo kind of relieves that tension.
Yeah.
And to put the main character around these people, these people don't make much of an appearance, but when they do make an appearance, it's golden. You know what I mean? They steal the show with everything.
There's so much humor in that, you know.
There is.
We're so focused on the negative right now. If we can look for the comedy and the funny and what brings us together, comedy is a great way of doing that.
Exactly right. Yeah. You know, and I've always been a fanatic writer. You know, I've written screenplays, I've written stories. I worked for television where I used to write promos all the time.
Amazing.
You know, so I figured, you know, why not trying to channel that into a sitcom or a series or something. Yeah. I've written movies before. Never got. One script I got shortlisted down from 1,000 to the final 11, but it didn't make it to the final 3.
Yeah, okay.
But I got to the final 11.
Yeah, that's a big.
And I was like,
man.
wow, I was happy with that.
For me, in my eyes, I think just completing a script is a big achievement.
It is. It's massive.
Yeah.
I spent like I wrote the whole thing in like 6 months, but it took me an additional year and a half to tighten it and tweak it and twist it. You know, and rewrite it. I've rewritten it like 17 times.
Yeah.
You know, my first attempt in writing a script was terrible because it was one person asking a question and the other one just answering the question.
Yeah.
That's how I was doing my conversation.
Yeah.
I'll ask this question and he'll answer that question. Then I'll ask him this question, then he'll answer that. That wasn't a dialogue. Yeah. But what did I know? You know, so like, what's going on between you and me? Imagine this was written.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It comes out naturally.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's how you want to try it with what you want to achieve. When you're writing a script, it has to come out naturally.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You don't want it to look like it's fake. Now, who was your inspiration to get into comedy?
Who inspired me to do stand-up comedy?
Yeah.
Not a comedian, but a psychic lady.
No. Yeah. That's what you don't hear that every day.
Yeah, because a lot of people expect you to go Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I enjoyed watching comedians, you know, and the comedians I enjoyed watching, Chris Tucker.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy, yes.
Of course.
A lot of the Def Jam comedy.
Yeah, the good old days.
You know, I loved all of that.
Okay, now you said earlier, and I want to make sure, and I want to make it clarified in this podcast, you got to hang out with Kevin Hart?
I did, yeah. Yeah.
Is he really that funny, or is he? I find him he'd probably be more funny off stage than he is on stage.
No, I think he's more philosophical off stage and more calmer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was that experience like hanging out with Kevin? What did you guys do? Did you guys go get burgers or something? Did you play?
No, I didn't hang out with him like that. It was more in the green room with other comics and other people there as well.
Did you conversate with the man?
Yeah. I got to speak to him. Probably for about 10 minutes or something. Okay. And then, you know, take pictures and then stay in the same vicinity as him, like in the green room. But obviously I wasn't like, hey, Kevin, can we continue talking more? You know, so I could tell people I spoke to you for long.
Yeah.
You know, it's more like my buddy who was visiting Melbourne from America. He got me tickets and they said, do you want to come backstage and hang out? And I was like, yeah, I would love that. So then I went backstage and... You know, they're in the green room. It's myself and there's Sushi Mango from Australia, obviously, are backstage, and other people. I didn't know who they were, but I just knew the boys. And so I got talking to the boys as well. And we're just backstage and talking to Kevin, talking to his entourage, and then afterwards, we went out partied, and you know, he wasn't there, but the entourage was there, so I was there with them, and. Yeah, it was just chilled, man. You don't want to be that person when you meet these guys backstage. Yeah. You don't want to be like, oh my God, you know, you don't want to be that.
No.
You want to be normal.
No, of course. I mean, like, it really depends on the status of that person. Like, I doubt it very much when Michael Jackson was alive, anybody that got near him was going to play it cool. Nobody was going to play it cool.
I would have played it cool.
You know, you would try, but you won't. You know, if I was to play it cool, this is how cool it would be. Like I'm looking like I'm going to kill the fucking guy. Look where he is. It's like I can always.
You know what? I'll tell you one person where I was like starstruck. Right? It was Adelaide Fringe during COVID. myself and my buddy, we became close contact to our opening act who got COVID, right? And he was like, guys, I'm so sorry I got COVID. So we all three of us had to isolate. Me and my buddy, we had our own solo shows. We had to cancel and isolate, and we were staying together. So we isolated in the same room together, and our opening act isolated in his room, a different room. So me and my buddy, we were like, you know what? We'll write jokes, whatever, for 7 days that we're in isolation.
Okay.
Instead, one of our other buddy ended up dropping like a little bit of marijuana to us, right? And we smoked some, and we're like, let's watch some comedy, and we put on Earthquake, Netflix special. Mm-hmm. Have you seen Earthquake's Netflix special? No, the first one he put out. You haven't seen Earthquake performance?
I think I know who you're talking about.
Produced by Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, the black comedian.
Yeah.
I've heard of the show, and I heard that Chappelle produced it. What's the name of the comedian? It's tip of the tongue. I know who you're talking about.
Earthquake, that's his name.
That's his name? But no, what's his real name? I thought that was the name of the show.
I don't know his real name, but his stage name is Earthquake.
Okay. I know who you're talking about, but I've never seen it.
You have to watch it.
No, I will. But I know exactly who you're talking about.
So first one produced by Dave Chappelle, right? We're watching it, and it's so funny because it just takes you back to Def Jam comedy days.
They're the good old days.
Yeah,
the good old days.
So Earthquake is just half an hour it went for, and I'm laughing and crying, and my buddy is laughing, and we're dying. We're like, this is the funniest thing we've ever seen. And to make sure it wasn't because we were high. Like, I watched it again and again. I've seen it so many times, and it's still so funny, right? And then fast forward to like a year later, I went to America and I did some shows around America. I'm at the Laugh Factory, and there's like maybe 100 people in the room, and they're like, "Give it up for your MC tonight, Earthquake!" And he comes out, and I'm just like eyes wide open, like, "Oh my god, it's Earthquake!" Right? He comes out and he does the same thing, and it's freaking hilarious, right? It's funny. His whole stage presence the same as what I saw, and he did some of the jokes, but a lot of it was new. And he was just great. And then show finished, and he's just chilling. He's chilling in the room, chilling in the car park, and I'm just watching him, and I'm like, I have to ask for a picture because my buddy is not going to believe this, right? Back in Australia, my buddy Emo. Have you met Emo Majok?
I can't say I have, no.
Emo is a comedian. He's very funny, and he got the golden buzzer on Australia's Got Talent.
Okay, sweet. So I better get him on my show, Emo. Yeah, if you're watching, come on by.
Yeah, get Emo. He's great. I'll introduce you. He's actually in Adelaide doing the Adelaide Fringe.
Sweet. Maybe I'll try to get him while I'm still here.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of...
So then I saw Earthquake at the Laugh Factory, and I was like, I got to get a picture. And so I went up to him, and I'm like, just be brave, just go. So I went up, and I was like, excuse me, Mr. Earthquake.
Mr. Earthquake. I like that.
I was like, me and my buddy, we're huge fans. Like, can I get a selfie with you? And he was like, yeah, come here, man. Yeah.
Oh,
and I was like, thank you, Mr. Earthquake.
Then I was so starstruck. Well?
No, I did it. And then I went, thank you. And I just watched him walk away with like love hearts in my eyes. I'm like, Earthquake, right? It's one of those moments I went, man, I was starstruck. And all my life, I'm like, I'll never get starstruck. I met Chris Brown. I met Trevor Noah.
Wow.
I met, like I said, Kevin Hart. Yeah. Not starstruck. I met Earthquake. Excuse me, Mr. Earthquake.
My God. I'll probably feel that same way if I ever met Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is my favorite comedian of all time.
Yeah, okay.
You know, to me, I believe Dave Chappelle was the comedian that was passed the torch from Richard Pryor himself, saying, "You're carrying it for me now." You know, I think in my opinion, I feel he's the best comedian stand-up since Chappelle,
he's amazing.
Pryor. He's terrific. Amazing. He's terrific in everything, in sketch, in movies, in stand-up.
Yeah,
he's just inspirational, and I love the man. So I think I probably would have. What you experienced, I probably would have had the same experience with Dave Chappelle if I ever met the dude.
Yeah.
It'd be amazing.
It's just, I can't explain it. But I'm like,
excuse
me, Mr. Earthquake. My voice even broke, like, my balls had got, excuse me, Mr. Earthquake. Can I get a selfie?
I love the Mr. in front of Earthquake.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't know. Putting a Mr. in front of a natural disaster sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Volcano.
And he's like,
Mr. Cyclone.
He's gangster, you know. So I wasn't like, oh, yo, what up, Earthquake? Hey, man, me and my homie back in Australia. You know,
you can't talk that way to him.
We love your shit, and you mind if I get a pic with you? It wasn't even like that. It was, excuse me, Mr. Earthquake.
You know what? He would. You know what? At least that he would probably remember that.
Nah.
Yeah.
He might be like, man, those is bitch ass.
No. Because like he'll probably remember
homie from Australia.
Yeah, he'll probably remember
a mister?
that.
What?
You know? Hey. Anybody who meets a black person that speaks like that is forever memorable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Joe spoke like a little...
expecting a
little
what
female.
Up, you know?
You know, he spoke like a chipmunk. So we're going to remember that.
That's what it
voice.
sounded like. Mr. Earthquake.
Now, when you had your time with your psychic, did she predict that you were going to have an experience with an earthquake?
No. But she did predict something that hasn't happened yet, which is meeting or working with a senior hall, which hasn't happened yet. But looking forward to it. And she's been right the whole, like, about everything. I've seen her more than once, and she's absolutely amazing. She's based in Perth. Her name's Annette. That's who inspired me to do comedy. So I was going through a tough time in my life at the age of 29, and I was working as a business banker for a local bank. So, you know, looked good in the eyes of the public, you know, always in a suit, tie, pin right through it, business meetings, writing up to like $5 million worth of home loans for CEOs and all that. Damn. So it looked good, you know, almost $100,000 a year pay. In the eyes of society, I was successful and I looked great, but internally I was depressed. You know, I just didn't find any reason to get up every morning, you know, that was worth it. And I just felt like I was going down a hole. And so I decided to look within. I decided to pursue motivation, you know, self-motivation and personal growth. And I came across all these people like Jim Rohn, Les Brown, Eric Thomas, Bob Proctor, Napoleon Hill on Think and Grow Rich, and all this motivational stuff started changing my mindset. It's like, if you want your life to change, you have to start with your personal philosophy. And I'm like, okay, what is my personal philosophy? Oh, I'm doing a lot of negative talks. Yeah. So then I started changing my personal philosophy just to see if they're right. And my mindset started changing. My mood started changing. I started feeling better. I started like taking opportunities here and there. I started venturing, you know, down this way and that way, places and business ventures that I usually wouldn't take a risk on. I'm like, let's just see if that's where my treasure is, right? You got to find your treasure in life, your purpose. And so my sister called me while I was going through this phase in my life. My sister called me and she was crying. And I was like, what's wrong? And she's like, oh, you won't believe this weird thing happened to me. I saw this psychic lady and she said things that she should not have known. How did she know? I got so weirded out. I left, and, you know, and I was like, all right. And what do you want me to do about it? She's like, I think you should go and see her. And I think you should see if she's like making this whole thing up and she doesn't know anything. And can you just go and check? Because, you know, like, I know you wouldn't give her information and you'd be a bit more cautious than I am. Can you go and just like do it and just see what the experience is like? And I was like, you know what? I've got nothing to lose. Let me go have a look for you. So I went and I sat down and the lady goes to me, have you done this before? I said, no. She goes, okay, I want you to know whatever comes to me, I'll share with you, good or bad. I'm not going to hide it. Mm-hmm. Are you okay with that? I said, there's nothing bad you can share. I'm at the bottom right now. All right.
Okay, yeah.
And she said, okay. And she said some things that started blowing my mind. Like, she said some things about my mates, my buddy who passed away, who took his own life, that she should not have known. Conversations I've had with him, she should not have known. And I haven't told her anything. So instantly alarm bells are ringing in my head. But outside, I've got this smile on my face and I'm like staying calm. And then she goes to me, what do you do for work? She comments on your love life, your work life, and your personality trait. And she said, what do you do for work? I said, I work for a bank. And she just laughs. And I go, what's funny? And she goes, I'm sorry, but it's not your calling. Like, it's nothing to do with your spirit, your personality. She goes, why? She goes, you're just doing it because probably there's a position of power you're in and you tell people what to do. And I said, yeah, I coach people and stuff like this. So I guess I tell them what to do. And she said, you love the power. That's pretty much it. But it's not in line with your personality. And I go, okay, well, what is it that you see from me then? And she, she has this moment where she looks around and she goes, oh, I see you on stage. And I go, what do you mean? She said, I don't know. She goes, you're elevated, you're performing to a big crowd.
Wow.
I go, okay. She goes, yeah, do you do anything with stage at the moment on the side? I said, no. She goes, are you a motivational speaker? I'm like, no. And she goes, are you a rapper? I'm like, are you stereotyping? And she's like, no, I'm not.
You're not asking sidekick questions here? Okay.
I'm like, no, I'm not a rapper. And then she goes, oh, I'm so sorry. She goes, I don't know, but it's to do with stage.
Oh, wow.
She goes, whatever it is, it's to do with stage and it's your job to find it. And I was like, okay. She goes, yeah, I see you elevated. I see you performing to a big crowd of people. The energy is you walk in and you're high-fiving people. That's the energy in the room. She goes, so I don't know what it is. It's your job to find it. I'm like, all right. And before we wrapped up the conversation, I said, hey, a month ago, I actually wrote 1 page of stand-up, wanting to try stand-up because my buddy was like, you're funny. You should do stand-up. Since you're in a journey in your life where you're trying everything, why don't you try stand-up? And I was like, yeah, it's not bad. So I wrote some jokes. And then I went, nah, this is ridiculous. I'm going to focus in banking, right? And then
it's a safer thing to do.
It's a safer thing to do, right? And then I told her this, and the way she looked at me, the way she spoke to me, she's like, you have to do stand-up comedy. It's stand-up comedy. That's what I'm seeing for you. You're going to be great at it. You're going to be successful at it. If you don't do it, you're going to be an old man and regret the way you lived your life. And I was like, we can't have that. I don't want to regret the way I lived my life.
Yeah.
So then I was like, where do I do it? She's like, find the place to do it, but you're going to be amazing at it. And I was like, all right, this lady, the way she's looking at me is a bit crazy, But the way she looked at me made me believe in myself and in this idea that she just kept pushing in my head. So I went away and I found an open mic and did 5 minutes. And the reception that I got from that 5 minutes, I was like, oh my God, she's right. This is it. So I only did stand-up comedy because of her.
Wow. That's one hell of a story. Everybody's got their story on how they got on stage for the first time. And now you're performing in the Adelaide Fringe, performing your Emotional Blackmale.
Yeah.
Now, when are you airing? When are you performing your shows?
Tonight, and then Friday and Saturday. Just 3 shows.
Friday and Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Be sure to check it out. The poster is right here. Check out Emotional Blackmale. Yeah. For all you racist people who have white guilt, you have to come and see him now. All right? And enjoy that shit because I think it's going to be hilarious. I think it's going to be a good show. And I'm going to do my best to try to make it myself. Now, I want to ask you a couple of questions that I normally ask my local ones. I want to get somebody of your caliber stewing in these questions, okay?
Yeah. One moment. You said caliber and you did this. Do you mean like black person?
No. No.
Caliber?
No, I meant caramel. No. No. In your status of what you have achieved and the people that you've worked with, you obviously stand out to the local talent that I have here in Adelaide who have not yet achieved what you have, who hope to aspire to make it that far, if not further.
Man, it's so strange, to hear that because you think, you know what, I need to do more. I haven't done anything. It's like every level you get to, you go, oh, this is great. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, no, I haven't really achieved anything. I need to do more. Meanwhile, you have other people going, mate, I want to get to his level. He's done something.
You've achieved... Dude, if I get $50 for 5 minutes, I've achieved something. Then I'll just tell you that right now. You know what I mean? I feel like, I'm a paid comedian now. Now, one question I would like to ask you is, if you could do your comedy for any moment in history, for any audience in history, which time period would you choose?
I'd choose 2017 Adelaide.
Okay, not so long ago.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I tell you why?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's the reason, the whole point.
I mean, it was my first interstate show. No, my second interstate show. And I was like, I had 1 ticket sold 2 weeks before the show. And I was working with a fellow Ethiopian promoter. And he said, hey, man, we've only sold one ticket. And I said, what do you think the problem is? He said, the Ethiopian community is not coming out, or the African community, because he said, we've just had a death in the community. Oh. Someone had taken their own lives. And, you know, I was going through a hard time myself, and I could sort of relate to what was happening. And, it touched me in a way where I was like, okay, should we cancel the show? He said, maybe we should. And I said, you know what, I want to do the show. And I think in times of darkness, comedy truly does transcend and it heals. So I said, I want to do the show. And if people come, they come. If they don't, then I'll just leave the next day. Doesn't matter. I'll come down anyways. So he picks me up. We go to the funeral. And I said, bring some flyers, just in case. I'm at the funeral. I pay my respect. We're outside. And, outside people were just hanging, lingering. And people were looking at me. And people wanted to know who I was. Teenagers, right? And young adults. And the guy, I said, introduce me and tell them I'm a comedian from Perth. And so they're like, hey, this is blah, blah, he's a comedian from Perth. I said, yeah, hi, I'm a comedian from Perth. I've got shows. And they went, oh, well, can we come to the shows? And I said, yeah, you should come. It's happening, blah, blah, blah. In fact, here's a flyer that has all the info. And then he goes to me, oh, there's a soccer competition going on. You want to go check it out? I said, yeah, let's go. We went to the soccer tournament, the African Soccer Cup tournament. And everyone's like, who's that guy? Oh, he's a comedian, but he's a good show. On the night of the show, we had about 80 people there. And maybe 3 white people. Everyone was black, African, right? The energy in the room with every punchline, the way it hit, I was like, I could relive this night over. And so that's the best time I've ever had on stage, when it was a room full of Africans and they just got the jokes. Oh, wow. Like, in a way, it's never been received before. I've had so many amazing time on stage, and I love my audience. It doesn't matter what background they're from, right? But this particular night in Adelaide...
Wow. I had a very similar experience to that when I was performing in Bahrain.
Sorry to interrupt. Can I just say... and then I've come back again, expecting the same people to come back. They've never come back again.
Oh, no.
They've come once. We've had the best time, and they're like, that's it. And I saw one of them and said, why don't you come? And he said, we've seen you already. I said, yeah, but I'm back with a different show. He's like, yeah, but it's the same person.
Oh, God. I mean...
Yeah. And I went, what are you talking about? It's always going to be the same person with different jokes.
If a band's got a kick-ass album and they're promoting it on stage, and then a year later they have another kick-ass album, they're not going to say, oh, we've already seen the first one.
So I'm going to get plastic surgery and then come back.
Oh, God.
Sorry, you were saying in Bahrain?
Yeah. No, in Bahrain, I had a similar experience where I was invited to perform at this club to do stand-up. And the whole crowd were Black Americans.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe a couple of Latinos and some black guys love the white meat, so they brought their white chicks with them.
Yeah.
But the majority of them were all black, and that stereotype is true. They do, right? And I had my set routine already, but when I realized that I was performing for an all black crowd, I opened up with a joke that I hadn't prepared.
Okay.
I got up on stage and I said, "Oh my God, you guys have come a long way, haven't you?" All right. Where else but in Bahrain can I perform for an all-black crowd where the property value continues to rise? So that's all I said. Yeah. And they got a laugh out of it, and we got into it. And then I said, what is it that black men love the most, which also happens to be the title of a 1990s thriller movie? That's right, single white female. So I've got it like that kind of thing. And I had them just with that, and then I did my routine, and it was really cool.
See, it's great. That wouldn't work in a different crowd. Imagine if you had predominantly white crowd.
Oh, they probably wouldn't know.
A pocket of Black Americans here and there. They'll laugh, but the rest will be like, we don't understand.
No.
Is he being racist?
No, see, that's the thing. Today people will ask me, is that a racist joke? I mean, are you being racist? Are you being racially insensitive? Right? Like, but there was one white person, and because I was making a few black jokes, I'm like, you better be crazy. You better be safe out here, man. It's dangerous. And I said, I'm not scared of you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I did like a Bernie Mac thing. I ain't afraid of you motherfuckers. I'm scared of that white guy over there. There's one white dude, all the black dudes. Yeah. You've seen Dharma, he's after you. Right?
That's good. That would have killed.
That one killed.
Black audience would have.
Oh, they laughed. They ate that shit up, and like Dharma would have. So it worked. It worked out well. And so that was a good experience for me as well. So I kind of understand what it felt like to have an all black crowd, especially one who's catering to an all black
it's different.
Comedian.
it's different. Your experience is different to mine. I'll tell you why. If it was all a Lebanese crowd, or all Lebanese from Bahrain, in Bahrain there, because they would more likely have the same experience as you.
Yeah,
the black people were just loving you because not only were you saying funny thing, but you were a novelty act.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Where with me and the African audience, I wasn't a novelty act.
It was like as one,
but it was more like one of their mates.
Yeah,
the stories were like stories of their mums.
Yeah.
So that it's like lived experience, you know?
But so your comedy really spoke to them. It catered to them.
It spoke to them, 100%.
Yeah.
But I write it in a way where it speaks to non-Africans as well.
Okay.
But in this comedians with the experience that you have, you can shift depending to the room. You read the room, right? And in this particular night, the room was all African, and I was, catering to that.
Yeah,
room.
No, that would have been amazing. Lebanese won't come see me because we don't support each other the way we should. Lebos. All right. Now, we have reached what I like to call the existential part of the podcast. We're gonna get deep here, man. We're gonna get deep. Now, you've already answered this in passing, but I want to ask it with more detail. Now, you changed your name to Joe White to fit in. At what point did you stop fitting in and start owning who you were?
Honestly, just this year alone.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what this show is about. It's about going back to my real name. I've always, I guess privately, I've always known who I am, Tlahun, and I've always been proud of Tlahun, and I've always, carried my Ethiopianness and my identity in a proud way. So I've never not been proud of who I am or my identity or my heritage, right? So I've always been proud, but publicly, I haven't claimed it, and I haven't gone with my real name publicly. A lot of it is because I feel the audience would not understand, would not accept it. And a lot of that is in my head, because the audience at the end of the day, they just want you to be your true self and they want you to be funny. That's all it is. It doesn't matter what your name is. Someone said something to me and I was like, wow, that's really great. He said, it doesn't matter what name you give the world, but it's on you to make it memorable. Right?
That's nice.
So for me, I realized at 40, I can be my true self publicly because it doesn't matter what name I give them. And I promise to make my real name memorable. In fact, more memorable than Joe White. Right? So it's only at 40 since becoming a dad where I've gone, it's time to go publicly with my real name and claim my identity publicly and my heritage and, teach my daughter that she should do the same thing as well. She should stand proud in her true identity, not walk into a room, see the room, and then change who she is to fit into the room and be accepted. I'm like, no, I want her to be proud, being her true self in whatever room she's in, whatever environment she's in. And how can I teach her that? How can I expect that of her when I'm not doing that publicly myself? So at 40, I went, it's now time. But for decades, I've always been proud of who I am.
No, that's good. That's what you want. Now, if home isn't a place but a feeling, where do you feel most at home?
When I'm laughing.
Nice one. Okay.
There's when I'm laughing and because when I laugh, it's like my voice. The tears, my whole family, when we laugh, we cry.
Yeah.
It's like we laugh internally and then you just hear, and then it's like tears are coming out, Sounds like we're having an orgasm, but
no, it's a laughing orgasm. It's hysterical. It's good.
When I'm laughing, I feel more at home and peace.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to ask if comedy was a coping mechanism or a calling, but since with that,
100%.
Since with the psychic story, I feel like that question is redundant since you told me everything.
No, it's a coping mechanism. It is.
It is? You feel that way?
Is. Oh, 100%. I remember growing up in Sudan, we had nothing.
You had a very tough upbringing. I read about that.
We had nothing, right? And the way we entertained ourselves and passed time was making fun of each other. So there's 6 of us. I'm one of 6. We'll have 3 on one side, 3 on the other, and then we'll start making fun of each other in turns and see who gets the most laughs.
Wow, so you were playing the dozens when you were young. So here we have playing the dozens, but they call it something else, like he's making fun of me. And they go to the principal or whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, cool.
So comedy is definitely what we use to cope.
All right. When you talk about fatherhood and emotion in your comedy, who are you really speaking to? Your kids, your younger self, or other men?
It's definitely my younger self. Yeah, I'm talking to my younger self, you know. And I talk, you know, I want to, obviously, when I speak to my younger self, you know, my younger self was scared. My younger self was shy. My younger self was quiet. My younger self was, you know, changing himself to fit into certain spaces. And I guess this show is more really a conversation with my younger self, because I see my younger self in my daughter, and I'm like, she's gonna get to that 11-year-old me or that 7-year-old me, and it's like I want to be the dad I never had. Because my dad was an alcoholic and he left when I was 5 years old. So I want to be the dad that I wish I had, which is, you know, someone who loved, guided me, protected me, had conversations with me about identity and guided me through it, those challenging moments. Like I never had that, you know, and my mom was too busy trying to keep us alive and provide and, you know, put food in our stomach. So I totally get it. And she did an amazing job raising us. But I definitely want to do more for my own, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So this show is really about addressing my demons and telling my younger self it's okay, you know? And times have changed.
Wow, they have. Man, this podcast is getting me all emotional. I'm learning so much here, man.
Gets more emotional.
You know,
the longer we keep going.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's why we're gonna take it back a little bit and play a game that I like to that is known as wrong answers only. Have you heard of this game? I'm gonna ask you questions, and you are going to deliberately give me the wrong answer.
Okay.
To see how creative you can get with some of these.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Why did you really change your name to Joe White?
Because I want to be black.
That's exactly what it is. He wants to be black.
This is, by the way, that setup where they clip all of this shit, and then what happens is they go, well, there you go, you've heard it from him. This is why he wanted to be white, so he can be black. And people go, this guy is a bloody idiot. He makes no sense. Have you heard this? And then someone watches it and goes, oh, yeah. So
no, that's okay.
You're setting me up, Majid, is what I'm trying to say.
No. I ain't setting nobody
Wrong
up.
answers only. They edit that part out.
No. This is unedited. So people, what they see is what they get. You know? No.
But as comedians, we
I don't work for news where I manipulate the story.
I'm not saying it's you. I'm saying someone else. Right?
Yeah. Well, that's just their own paranoia that's looking for shit to talk about. And
you have to be okay with people having this idea of you where it's not your true self and it's not a reflection of your reality. It's theirs. So it's like whatever. So.
No, exactly. Whatever. Yeah. Like if anyone that's offended, take that to the grave. Okay. What's your fake backstory that you tell when your Uber driver asks you where you're from?
Adelaide. Yeah. And then
not too original, but funny.
And then instantly he says, "This fare will be free.
It'll
be on the house."
Okay, cool. I don't get that treatment.
Adelaide is nice.
Okay. What did your parents actually wanted you to be instead of a comedian?
A girl.
Okay. Now that's an answer I didn't expect.
They needed extra hands to help, you know, around the household stuff. And, you know, growing up in Sudan, it's like the females cooked and cleaned. And so, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. What's Dave Chappelle most famous for?
Being Kevin Hart.
Okay.
You said wrong answers.
It was.
Wrong answers.
That is so wrong. It's great. I love it. And they had that little rivalry thing they had. It wasn't really a rivalry, but they had that little thing that happened one time, one of his specials. Okay. Finish the following lyrics from this very famous song. And I will always
hate you.
Oh, okay. I was thinking more. Okay. and I will always still go to the ATM to see how much my balance is. I don't know. Something like that. All right. And finally, the question that I ask everybody at the end of this, just to test their creativity. Joe to the White, how does one catch an STD?
How does one catch an STD? By hanging out with Majid.
Oh, there you go. You're welcome, ladies. You know?
I'm joking.
I'm the reason you got that extra day weekend. So wait. I don't know if that was a compliment or an insult, but I like it. I like the fact that you included me in that answer.
I'll tell you what it is. It's you're so good looking and so funny.
No, don't do the wrong answer.
Hanging out with you makes them go out there and catch it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's how I meant it.
Okay, cool. In the most wrong answer way possible. Okay, so yeah, I'm not good looking, but that's fine. I can take my lumps. Now, we have entered the conclusion part, where I'm going to ask you a series of 10 questions.
Okay.
Now, these 10 questions were made famous by an American writer and actor named James Lipton, who had a show called Inside the Actor's Studio. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Yes, I have.
Okay. And I cannot mention James Lipton without mentioning his favorite journalist, by a Frenchman named Bernard Pivot. And these are the famous questions he asked everybody towards the end of his show. Joe?
No, I will not sleep with you.
No, okay, that wasn't the question.
Okay, go.
You know, I mean, okay, I'd like dark meat, but that's not what I was getting at. All right. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word. You know what I mean?
That's a term.
Okay. Favorite word? Interesting.
It is.
When someone tries a joke, they go, "Hey man, do you think this is funny?" A fellow comedian, I go, "Interesting."
Okay.
Instead of saying nah.
No, okay. All right, fair enough. You're humoring them in a way. That's cool.
Yeah.
What is your least favorite word?
My least favorite word? Asshole.
Yep.
Yeah, hate that word.
Okay. Now,
when someone calls me an asshole, I just, I don't know why, but
you get all Hancock on them, right?
Yeah, I feel like, how dare you call me an asshole? I'm not an asshole. I'm a nice person. You're an asshole. Yeah,
fair enough.
Now that if people hear this, they'll be like, asshole.
Yeah, they're going to Hancock you big time. Yeah. Call me asshole one more time. Yeah. What turns you on?
What turns me on? My partner.
What turns you off?
What turns me off? My partner.
Yeah, I saw that one coming. Cool. What is your favorite curse word?
My favorite curse word? Motherfucker.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. You can't go wrong with that. What sound or noise do you love?
That noise.
Oh, okay.
Breathe in.
Oh, so you must hate yoga classes.
I love them.
Oh, really? Because there's a lot of breathing in that. What sound or noise do you hate?
Sound or noise do I hate? Screeching noise.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, of course you love that sound. I thought that was wrong. Okay, I got that mixed up.
I thought the same thing as well. I was like, I think he
I got that mixed up.
Yeah,
of course you love that sound. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No wonder you love yoga.
Yeah.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Man, I wish I was a singer.
Yeah.
In this new show, I use the opportunity to sing. I go, do you guys know Joe Thomas? Right, that's where, you know that song? Yeah. It's amazing how you knock me off my feet. Take it away.
Oh, no, I don't know that.
Every time you come around me, I get
weak.
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 Baby, I'm the type of man who shows If I keep singing, I'm going to catch chlamydia.
All right, cool. No, that's fine. I'm familiar with the song, but I don't know the lyrics to that song.
Yeah, I love it, man. So I use the opportunity to sing at my show. So I wish I could sing, you know?
Okay,
but
cool.
Unfortunately, I'm a comedian.
I did a set where I did some singing, but it was amateur, but just for comedy relief, for a point that I was trying to make about how music has changed. Anyway, what profession would you not like to do?
Door-to-door salesman.
Oh, that would be tough.
Yeah, I did it for 4 years. I hated it.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking, staying in it for 4 years.
That's an accomplishment.
Yeah, because you meet weirdos, man, and they invite you in and you know you should not go in. I remember this one door I knocked at. They were like, you want to come inside and explain the rates to us? A part of me was like, don't do it. But the other part was desperate. Man, after 100 knocks of not getting the cell, you'll go in. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, but you seen get out.
I know. And then it just got more weird. Like, mind if I take my bra off? It's been a long day. I'm like, no, sir. You can do what you want.
Well, I don't want to drag it, but I'm going to have to. We're going to postpone this last question. I used to work as a pizza delivery driver. So I could relate to fat pizza very well.
Yeah, I was going to say.
All right? Because one delivery I had, I was knocking on this guy's door and he was screaming, I'm coming. All right, fine. So I'm waiting. Waited 5 minutes. I knocked on the door. I'm coming. Fine. No, you're not. All right. And then 5 minutes later, I'm knocking going, I'm coming. And then he comes downstairs, right? The naked woman behind him, he's wrapped in a towel. Oh, no. I go, okay. And I gave him the pizza. I didn't want to touch him, because now I know what he was coming about.
Yeah.
And, you'd think you get a good tip out of that one, but no, tight ass. But anyway, here we go.
Well, she got a good tip.
Yeah, she got a good. He got a good tip. Then it took a long time to get there, but he got there. Anyway, but that was a true story, by the way. I'm not making that shit up. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
What would I like to hear God say? Come in, and you're not coming in. Get out. Imagine that. No, not come. No. So I want to hear come in.
The black entrance is that way.
Yeah. Imagine so. We've reached our quota. There's already 2 black people in there. Like even in heaven, there's diversity.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. Well, Joe. Thank you so much for being here, man. I mean, I really appreciate taking some time out of your busy schedule to be here. I know it's not easy.
I was just gonna go have a nap. So thanks for. I'm very busy.
No, of course. Be sure to check out his show. By the time this episode appears, his show will be over. But if you haven't seen the show, please check it out. And Joe, the next time you're in town, please come and visit.
Yes, 100%.
Right? It'll be terrific.
Yeah.
All right. And thanks everybody for joining the Magic Hour. And until next time, guys, peace out. Wait. Make sure you follow me on my Instagram at Fame Film Agency and subscribe to my YouTube at Majid and Andary. And check out Joe's Instagram page, which is right over there. And follow this guy because, online. Don't actually follow the fucking guy. Just follow him online and you will not be disappointed. Peace out.
I'm broke, bitch.